This show's called Maganimation, and the idea is make animation great again. That's our theme. We're going to talk about old animated shows that we loved, movies, current things that we love, and basically we're going to do like an episode to episode thing. We're not going to actually try to review whole series on here, though we will talk about them, obviously, as we go through. I am Randy. Anyway, the first episode, we thought we might as well kick this bitch off with a fucking like adrenaline rush. So we're doing Samurai Jack season 5, episode 2. Let's abbreviate the episode 1. We give it like a 9, 9.5. The first one. Great return to form. Really good. One of the better episodes of Samurai Jack. I just feel like maybe the juxtaposition with the humor at the end with the jazz guy was a little weird with the comedy. I mean, not with the comedy, with the drama in the first, like. But that's not really a criticism. It just kind of like, it took me off a little bit because it's so serious. With Gandhi Tartakovsky, he's up in Pixar, Ghibli tier. Dexter's Laboratory. He worked on the Powerpuff Girls. What was that? Damn, he had another. Oh, the Clone Wars cartoon show. Amazing. Hotel Transylvania. Um, Dude's had a long career. If you go look at his resume, it's fucking insane. It would be insane to go through. But you know who he is. You know his style. He's mainly known for his action and anime sensibilities and like this mech kaiju sort of thing he does too in action films. But Samurai Jack, a lot of people think was kind of his masterwork because it was his most I think him creation. It was very influenced by Frank Miller, which he has said many times, and it actually takes a lot of its story from this comic book Ronin by Frank Miller. And the artwork's very inspired by Frank Miller. And there's actually an episode that's very similar to 300, the comic book. So Gandhi took about a 10-year break and never got to finish the show, and the show never really had an official ending. We just had clues that Jack was probably going to succeed. But if you know the story, Jack was sent to the future to not kill Aku. Basically, I guess like a demon god or something. Aku was a funny character, and Jack was real serious, and the juxtaposition was like there was kind of this Looney Tunes chase thing, Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner, but then there was this serious action show too. I'd also say that the standalone structure, yeah, because it used to be that way. It was like villain of the week. Every episode was on its own. So Gandhi's gone for 10 years, and then we hear Samurai Jack's coming back. And not only is it coming back, it's coming back on Adult Swim. And so we were pumped to say the least. I think everyone was. But there was worry that maybe he couldn't recapture that same feeling that was there when we were kids, when the original series came out. Not that it wouldn't be good, it just wouldn't be the same. I love that first episode. What I can say after seeing the second episode, and this, I don't think it's hyperbole. I think this is the best thing Gendy Tartakovsky's ever done. This episode of the show so far that I've seen. This is only the second episode. Let me remind you. I think this is the most realized thing he's done visually, thematically, from a storytelling standpoint. It was like a short film. The first 5 minutes is like a comedy bit with Aku, and it's really funny. But that's only to trick you because as me and you both know, once you see that wolf that is represents Jack, this episode kicks your fucking ass. This is serious shit. Uh, I mean, I don't even have words to talk about how I felt when I watched this thing. It's like Miyazaki's work in Dark Souls. I felt. Well, to me, the wolf either represented at the end what's going to happen to Jack, or metaphorically what just happened to Jack as a person in a sense. But you can read it differently. But basically, the episode starts. You see a wolf in the woods, and it's about to. It takes a path down a road, and Jack takes a path down a road, and then you see, you see this wolf get surrounded by these like green tiger things, the He-Man cat, and then you see Jack get surrounded by the daughters of Aku that were brilliantly set up in the first episode. After that point, there's pretty much very little dialogue except for Jack talking to himself about committing suicide. And the thing is, Jack's been the same age for 50 years, so he's aged in his mind, if not physically. So we're seeing Jack that's kind of out of it. He's kind of lost his way, and his only way of thinking he can keep doing this is this like idea that he's doing the right thing. And he relied on his sword so much. I think this idea with this show now is Jack losing his reliance on the sword and finding who Jack was, the man, because he never got to form who he was as a man because he spent so much of his time trying to kill Aku. He doesn't even know who he is anymore. And the lone wolf, of course, represents that. Jack is a lone wolf walking in the woods. This is not me reading into this. This is very clear what Gandhi is saying. If you, it's not even, it's obvious, right? Um, then the second half after that part where Jack starts to run and we get this like Matrix-esque slow-mo chase scene that is fucking badass as shit. Through the rain and stuff. Like, didn't that shot where Jack turned and opened his eyes just blow your fucking mind? That expression on his face, and then you just see the silhouettes of the daughters, and then they come into the frame with like a lightning strike. It's like watching Game of Thrones. I'm not kidding. Oh, well, here's the thing. After that point, there's no dialogue for the rest of the point. The next, like, 12 minutes, and you know every single thing that's going on. Yeah, there's a song. Well, they first. Jack runs into this temple and fights off the daughters Aku, and it's first just build up. They're looking for him. They go in the shadows, and it's all quiet. And then Jack gets in these fights, and there's this one fight that's in, like, shadows with, like, white lights. It's stuff he used to do in, like, Dexter's lab, but he's doing it now in Jack, and it was gorgeous, that part. Well, you know what he did here? He took a bunch of stuff he did in all the other episodes and integrated into like a 15-minute chase sequence. It's like every action beat that existed in Samurai Jack before, except heightened. Like, oh, here Jack's getting chased. Oh, he's got to fight. So then Jack goes and hides in a fucking coffin, and this sequence I think was the highlight of the episode. Um, this song kicks in that's inspired by a track from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and Gendy, this might be the best piece of thing I think he's ever directed. This sequence with the animation, the music, the daughters walking in. I can't even when thinking about it right now. I'm getting like teary eyed thinking about it. I mean, I thought it was like Avatar: The Last Airbender stuff, or seeing those like light bugs that were green and Jack in that coffin and the lights just getting dimmer and dimmer. And you just see the struggle on his face because how he draws his face, the animation with his eyes. And, yeah, then there's the big payoff at the end of the episode. Jack kills one of the daughters of Alcun. It's the first person, because previously Jack has only killed robots, because that was a deal Cartoon Network and Gandhi made. And we see blood. I really liked about it was that Gandhi didn't fetishize the violence. It was very brutal and direct, like, yeah, this is death. This is what it looks like. I'm not sugarcoating. Well, also, goddamn did they use that fucking, like, sonic boom sword badass. They somehow fit a fucking explosion in this episode. Seeing Jack like bleeding, going up against that wall and going into the water was just so dramatic for me as a fan. The writing too. The writing needs a compliment. So clearly, not only did he take these 10 years off to get inspired, I think he only matured and structured and figured out. You know, he does a standalone show a lot of the time. Like with most of his shows, there's not a huge continuity. There's overarching characters, but this is the first time he's really done heavy continuity, and it turns out Genndy Tartakovsky's fucking great at it. I guess the Clone Wars he kind of did, but even those were like little standalone short films. This is like a long epic that he's telling over 10 episodes. And so far, it's like Mad Max Fury Road meets Seven Samurai meets Saving Private Ryan or something. And it's badass. It's so heavy, it's so intense, and then the ending you see Jack bleeding in the water, and then you see the wolf laying there bloody, and the creature's dead, and it's like, oh my god, he's never done something like that. I mean, it all ties together. We and we've only seen 2 episodes, and we're both saying the second episode is one of the best things we've ever seen and a masterpiece. If the following episodes are this good or even better, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I haven't had this kind of hype since like True Detective or when like Game of Thrones first started or Breaking Bad season 4, because Jack never had an ending, and now we're getting the coolest ending ever. It's great that he had to, it's great that he had to wait 10 years, because it's just better because he had to wait 10 years. Taught us a lesson, but through action. But now they're going to deep philosophical questions that we ask as adults. I think it's more akin to Miyazaki now than it ever was before. I think before it was very much Gandhi, like mixing some comic book stuff. Now I definitely get like there's Princess Mononoke moments for me in this show. I think he might be the best action director in the world. I mean, I think he honestly, if he could direct movies, which he probably could, like Brad Bird did, like he shoots how he draws these things, it's mind blowing. The guy knows how to choreograph action and structure it. Like I don't think anyone else quite. He took everything I love about anime and perfected it. Like the shonen adventure show, he's perfected the violent, old school Fist of the North Star. Jack is like a Kenshiro for us today, and he's the modern guy, and he's so badass. Well, think about it, because Kenshiro's on a journey for revenge in Fist of the North Star, and you can't kill him. He's like a badass. That's Jack. Half is going to be very focused. I think one of the daughters of Aku, the one that they're focusing on, she's going to team up with Jack. I think it's going to be Ashi. I think she's going to be antagonistic with him, and then she's going to team up with him at some point. Did you imagine if he built like this daughter father relationship with her in the second half of the series? And then like Jack dies at the end and he has like a daughter and she lives on as like a samurai and has a sword and shit. No, seriously, that ending would make me fucking cry, dude. Like if Jack had like a daughter and he taught her and then she went back in time and shit with, oh my god. And we don't know how Aku's gonna be defeated. And it was nice to see Aku. I thought that bit was brilliant. It's just you don't think about it because everything after that's so intense. It tricks you at the very beginning. Well, you see him put his little fire eyelashes on, like when he gets yeah, the joke, the irony of it all is that Aku got what he wants and he hates it. And that's really funny, and Jack doesn't even know what his purpose is. I think we need to wrap this up here soon. I want to say that the green light and the white and all the Samurai Jack always used black, red, and white. There was a lot of green here. I'm not sure entirely what it meant symbolically, but I think it meant something as something spiritual in a way. Some way of passage, some safety that no longer belongs to you. But truly a great piece of work in 22 minutes. As you said about the first episode, it felt like 5 minutes. This felt like 3 minutes. Especially the second half. I've watched it 4 times now. It holds up. That soundtrack should win a fucking award. And like I said, if the other episodes are this good, we are in for a legendary season of television. Dude, the wolf thing wouldn't be in there if Gandhi didn't want you to read into it. That's how I feel. It wouldn't be in there. If that wasn't in there, there'd be nothing to read into, honestly. But that being in there changes everything about Samurai Jack that we thought before. I gotta say, 10 out of 10, obviously. So, yeah, put your rating in the comments. Yeah, we should actually have a rating for every episode we review, but this is a fucking 10. Easy. Easy 10. Easy dime, baby. Alright, well, this is Maganimation. We're gonna make animation great again, and if we keep up with stuff like this, we might get there. It turns... There's hope.